Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. In the name of Allah, most gracious, ever merciful. Assalamu alaikum. Peace and blessings of Allah be upon you, dear viewers. Welcome back to tonight's live online lecture organized by the UK Talim Department. As per our tradition, we will start with the recitation of the Holy Quran. If I could please request Harun Asamawa Sahib to recite a portion.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والذين إذا ذكروا بآيات ربهم لم يخروا عليها صما وعميانا والذين يقولون ربنا هب لنا من أزواجنا وذرياتنا قرة أعين واجعلنا للمتقين إماما أولئك يجزون الغرفة بما صبروا ويلقون فيها تحية والسلاما خالدين فيها حسنت مستقرا ومقاما قل ما يعبأ بكم ربي لولا دعاؤكم فقد كذبتم فسوف يكون لزاما. The verses are recited from the Holy Quran, chapter 25, verses 74 to 78. Translation is as follows. In the name of Allah, the gracious, the merciful. And those who, when they are reminded of the signs of their Lord, fall not down, thereat deaf and blind. And those who say, Our Lord, grant us of our wives and children the delight of our eyes, and make us a model for the righteous. It is such as will be rewarded with lofty chambers in paradise, because they were steadfast, and they will be received therein with greetings and peace. Abiding therein, excellent, it is as a place of rest and as an abode. Say to the disbelievers, but for your prayer to him, my Lord would not care for you at all. But now that you have rejected his message, his punishment will cleave to you. Jazakumullah.
Jazakallah, Ahsanul Jazaa, Harun Sahib. Tonight we have the pleasure of being joined by Nisar Orchard Sahib, who serves as the National Secretary Tarbiyyat UK. He also serves as chairman of the Islahi Committee and as a bereavement officer within the Ahmadiyya Muslim Jamaat. As part of his work, Nisar Sahib also leads a nationwide team of marriage counsellors and is therefore very well placed to speak on tonight's topic of marriage counselling. As always, there will be an opportunity for you to ask questions. These will be put to Nisar Sahib on your behalf in the last 15 minutes. Please type your questions into the live chat and kindly ensure that they are relevant to tonight's topic. It gives me pleasure indeed to hand over to Nisar Sahib to deliver tonight's lecture.
Jazakallah, Wakar Sahib. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. I'd like to wish everyone a very, very warm Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu on this chilly evening, okay? I hope everyone is warm and safe in their homes. And I hope everyone is happy as well, happy in their homes, warm, safe, and happy, okay? I'm kind of emphasizing on happiness as well today, because that's how we want our homes to be, a tranquil place, a very happy environment. And that is actually, let's say, created, a home is actually created by husband and wife. Then from husband and wife, their status changes to mother and father. They have children and they form a family. And that environment, we all wish and we all want a happy environment. But that is actually originated from a husband and a wife, okay? And if your environment at home is not a happy environment, if it is full of tension and arguments and fighting and so forth, well, everyone wants a solution. Well, I'm going to give you a solution at the top of this lecture, okay? You know, if you are married or if you are about to get married, I would ask everyone to go back and remind themselves of their wedding vows at the time of their nikah. When the wali of the girl stood up and the boy stood up and says, yes, I do, yes, I do. What were you doing at that time? Actually, both of you, boy and girl, you were promising both to each other that you will observe and exercise the highest level of righteousness to each other. You'll be kind to each other. You'll be patient with each other. You will love each other. You'll be sympathetic with each other. You'll be considerate to each other, and many, many other things. That's what you promised each other on that day. So remind yourself of that. To be honest, if you go back and read the nikah khutbah yourself, it's a very, very short khutbah. You know, when you attend a nikah, the imam, he reads the 5 verses of the nikah khutbah, and after a few minutes, doing the dua, then everyone's giving everyone mubarakabat and eating chuare and all that, okay? It's over. But please, it goes so fast. Let's rewind now and remind yourself of the nikah khutbah. Because if you not just only read it, understand it, but you have to implement it, okay? So there's the solution. Implement those words that you promised to your husband and to your wife on your nikah day, okay? There's a solution already. But unfortunately, I see the other side of marriage as well. You know, just before a couple gets married, they're all happy, happy, happy. Everyone is happy. But sadly, a number of marriages, they don't tend to go as planned. And I see the other face of marriage. And that's why we have to come up with remedies and solutions. Well, I've just given you one, okay? What more do you want? Go and study the nikah khutbah, understand it and apply it. And that is more than enough for you. It talks about taqwa. 5 times that word is mentioned, the fear of Allah, or to become righteous. The foundation of marriage is righteousness. Please do not forget that. Without taqwa, without righteousness, nothing can be successful. Forget about marriage, okay? In any walk of life, whether you're at work, whether you're with your friends or wherever, you always have to maintain a high level of righteousness. But because in the nikah khutbah, it's mentioned 5 times in a short khutbah that the foundation of marriage is righteousness. So please do not forget that. If you wish righteousness on other people, then that's what you should wish for yourself, okay? But the thing is, the reason why marriages maybe don't go as planned is because people forget that promise. When someone makes a promise to you, you expect them to keep it. Well, on the day of your nikah, you made a promise to your wife and to your husband in front of Allah that day. Never ever forget that, okay? And you can always go back and, and understand it and still implement it to this day, okay? So on the top of the lecture, I've already given you a solution already. Actually, I think I can even end this lecture right now because that is more than enough. That khutbah, which contains those 5 verses of the Holy Quran, it is more than enough for you to get tranquility, peace, and happiness in your married life. But nevertheless, I'm going to continue with my presentation today. Previously, Kaleem Tahir Sahib, National Rishta Nata Secretary, he actually delivered a magnificent lecture on marriage in the 21st century, and it was really, really received very, very well. I remember that, and I just hope, I've got a hard act to follow, and I hope I can do justice to this particular topic. I'm actually going to be jumping from one topic to another topic because it within this in the subject matter related to marriage and counselling, because there's so much to talk about. And so let's start my presentation, okay? Here we go. Okay, right, that's what it, Talim lecture, marriage counselling, okay? Now, counselling, the word counselling is a bit of a dubious word, because when someone is having counselling, it's as if something has gone wrong already, okay? Well, not necessarily. Counselling is a kind of general word for giving advice, giving direction, giving assistance, and so forth. So we've called it marriage counselling. But within the Jamaat, we do use that word quite a lot. And now I'm first of all going to start this presentation, and there's no better place by listening to Hazur's own very words, okay? And I'm going to take you back to a Friday khutbah, the 8th of April 2016, which I managed to dig out. And Hazur highlighted certain aspects of arranging marriages in line with Islamic teachings. And I like to think whatever slides I'm going to show to you, that will kind of encourage you to come up with more related questions. And in that particular khutbah, there's a bit of a test here actually. I've done this presentation quite a few times in local Jamaats, but here the Holy Prophet, peace be upon him, gave who the right to express their opinion concerning marriage proposals which are presented, yeah? Think about it. I mean, this is Hazur's very own question. The Holy Prophet, he gave women the right to express their opinion, because women were given rights by our beloved Prophet. Before the Prophet came along, they had no rights. And women, they can say no as much as they can say yes when a rishta, a proposal, is put forward, okay? Next one. However, alongside this right for women, it should be remembered that nikah, Islamic marriage, is not valid without the presence of a, you probably got it, a wali, a guardian, okay? Mainly the wali of the girl tends to be the father, the brother, or some other selected male within the family or appointed. So a lady, a girl has to have a wali. One may look at the other party before getting married, okay? Sometimes people say, no, we can't meet them, we can't see them. Well, Hazur himself, he said that, yes, you can see your potential other half, but if this is difficult, then a photograph should be sent. That shouldn't be a problem in this day and age at all, no problem. So a photograph can be sent of yourself. But remember, photographs don't tend to tell the truth all the time, okay? So keep that one in mind. But you can send a photograph if you're a bit shy. The allegation which is leveled against us that we do not marry into non-Ahmadis is not because we want to cause what? We don't want to cause division, absolutely not. You know, we are a Jamaat who wants to unify people. Rather, it is an effort to try and save ourselves and to give precedence to faith over, that's an easy one, worldly matters, okay? So again, you know, we encourage, this is why we have a Rishta Nata department, we encourage our own to marry within in order to unify and unite our very, very own people. And again, as Hazur said, we should give priority to faith over worldly matters. And Hazur continues, therefore the young ... the young men also need to pay attention to this. Nowadays, this has started to increase a lot. And if caution is not taken, then this will continue increasing, and Ahmadiyya will no longer remain in the, they said, if our men keep marrying outside, our faith will get diluted. It will no longer remain in the future generations of such people, except those upon God Almighty show his special grace, okay? So again, you know, we do have a very, very robust and sound Rishta Nata department, and there, you know, and they've got an excellent brand new system coming out now as well. So please, you know, you are encouraged to try to find a Rishta for yourself or your sons, your daughter, within the sphere of the Jamaat. Now, after saying all of this, Hazur actually then asked a question. He said, if young Ahmadi men continue to marry outside of Ahmadiyyat, then where will the Ahmadi girls get married? Or Ahmadi girls will be left on the shelf. Who are they going to get married to then? We have to marry. Marriage is an Islamic institution, okay? And we have to get our girls married. Who are they going to marry? So this is a question, and Hazur gave the answer himself. Our beloved Khalifa offered a solution. He said, I often tell those young men who marry outside of the Ahmadiyyat that if they have married outside owing to some reason, then they should also fulfill the rights of Ahmadi girls. Do not forget our girls, and they should try and make a young man in Ahmadi, try and convert someone and make them a sincere Ahmadi so that they can marry one of our Ahmadi girls. Keep that in mind, okay? Young men. And these are Hazur's very, very own words, and will also draw their attention towards the significance of marrying Ahmadi girls, okay? They'll be reminded themselves. Just imagine some young man, you have 3 sisters, okay? Who are they going to marry? Always keep that in mind. It's very, very important. You don't want them to be left on the shelf. They get to 30, 40 years old, and they find some rishta come then. Nay, always keep them in mind. Do not be selfish here. Okay, why counselling? Okay, counselling, well, because sometimes marriages don't go to plan, and we have to prepare the couple before they get married. Now, is a hadith, Ibn Umar, God be pleased with him, relates that the Holy Prophet, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, said, the most disliked of all lawful things in the sight of Allah the Almighty is divorce. Divorce is the most frowned upon thing in Islam that is acceptable. And that is why we have counselling. Counselling started, pre-marriage counselling actually started officially in February 2011, but 9 years ago. Before there was a rule that before a nikah took place, the couple, they have to have counselling. See, counselling is not really a new part of marriage. If you look from a point of view, if you look in the Catholic Church, sometimes they go through weeks of counselling before they actually tie the knot. But the thing is, when I said that this officially started in 2011, well, actually, we all Ahmadi Muslims, we've been getting counselling all our lives. You know, we get, like this particular Friday khutbah of 2016, Hazur, all our khulafa, all of our murabbis, all of our intellects and scholars, they've talked on this subject so many times. So our counselling has been endless and it will continue. But this particular team that I oversee, it is for a particular reason, because back then there was a worrying statistic that about maybe 20% of marriages were breaking down. That's 1 in every 5, which is quite worrying. That's why we set this counselling practice in place. Now, has counselling been successful since it started? Well, myself, I don't actually keep numbers, you see, okay? But the only way I can answer that question is that when people do ask me, has the number of divorces gone down, which is obviously one of our objectives, well, the only answer I give is that I say that after we do counselling, more so than not, the couple and the parents who have to be present, they say that this should have started a long time ago. They like what they hear. Again, they like what they hear, but what they hear, they have to take with them and put it into practice, okay? That's the underlying thing I'm emphasizing on. You put it into practice. And remember the promise you made to your wife, and remember the promise you made to your husband on your nikah day. Again, as counselling being successful, well, people like the concept of it, and it will continue as long as we can. Now, I mentioned divorce, okay? Now, again, it is the right of the husband and wife to seek a divorce. But it is the most frowned upon thing that in Islam that is lawful. Now, there are many, many reasons why divorces happen, but I'm going to give you my top 3, okay? You may have your own top 3, but this is my top 3. Number 1, we have parent interference, okay? Now, parents are always there to help the couple, and there's a very, very fine dividing line between interference and guidance. From the parent side, they will say, we're only guiding the couple. From the boy and girl side, they will say they're interfering. It's a very, very fine line. But remember that parents, they have a place in life, okay? And parents' position always have to be respected at all times. But parents, this is why parents also have to be present during the counselling sessions along with the boy, because they are key players to the success of the marriage or to the failure of the marriage. So that's one of the high numbered reasons why divorces take place. Number 2, well, it's anger. You know, anger destroys homes. When one loses it, when one goes off the top, they absolutely destroy that peace and harmony that I mentioned at the very beginning. This is what we're trying to strive for, a harmonious, peaceful home environment. You know, look, we all have anger. You have anger. I have anger. Everyone has anger. But the strongest person is not the one who's got big muscles, but the strongest person is the one who can control his anger. A bout of anger, a display of anger is actually a sign of weakness. Again, look, anger can lead to many other things. It could lead to, there's domestic issues. It leads to domestic abuse in many ways. And the victim, whoever the victim may be, they suffer from physical abuse, mental abuse, emotional abuse, financial abuse, and so many of these things. That's what anger can lead to. So basically, control your anger. And this is something I've seen that really does destroy homes. And the third one I've chosen is, yes, mobile phones. These days, people are married to their mobile phones. They spend so much time on their mobile phones, more than their spouses, than their other half. And it really, really does destroy homes. People, rather than taking their spouses to bed with them, they take their mobile phones to bed with them. They put their mobile phones under the pillow. They charge their mobile phones next to their bed. Seriously, that is the state of affairs. I will tell you a bedroom secret of my own home. Mobile phones are not allowed in my bedroom. I leave it out. I leave my phone outside the bedroom. If my wife walks in the bedroom with her phone, I tell her, I march her straight out with the phone. I do not allow her in the bedroom with a mobile phone. I also have 3 daughters as well. Each of them have mobile phones. We have to show them trust to our children. We do not know what they're getting up to in the bedroom. But if we parents show by example, we're leaving our mobile phones outside, they will also follow suit as well. Just a couple of more things on mobile phones. Again, anger, yeah? Anger leads to, bouts of fits, okay? And people show their fits sometimes with handheld missiles. They throw things at each other. And the number one thing they tend to throw is mobile phones. It's very, very handy. It's like a missile. Sometimes they smash their spouse's mobiles hard against the floor. Sometimes they actually throw it at each other as well, okay? These things lead to these things. They really, really do. You have to be very, very mindful. And the other thing is that mobile phones can lead to suspicion as well. Suspicion is not a healthy characteristic to have, especially between husband and wife. You have to trust each other. For example, if let's say husband and wife are watching some drama on television and their mobile phones are on a coffee table and the husband decides to go to relieve himself and he picks up his mobile phone. Why? Why does he need to pick up his mobile phone and take it to the toilet? Okay, no, just leave it there. But the thing is, when he's left it there, the wife should not say, okay, he's gone in, let's check Let's check his text messages. That's wrong as well. So basically, if you have, let's say, passwords on your mobile phone, well, husbands, if you've got a password in your mobile phone, your wife should know what it is. And wives, if you have passwords on your mobile phone, your husband should know what it is. There's no hiding anything from each other. It's a matter of trust, and mobile phones do raise this level of suspicion as well. So be careful of the usage of mobile phones. Anyway, pre-marriage counselling, well, basically, it's all about making people aware of the pitfalls of marriage. This is what it's basically for. And I'm going to highlight some points in the pre-marriage counselling sessions that do take place. And I should let you know that a pre-marriage counselling session probably takes up to between 1 hour to 1.5 hours. That's all. It's nothing painful or anything, but it only takes 1.5 hours, and it is good stuff. And that pre-marriage counselling notes were approved by our beloved Hazur as well. Anyway, let's start, okay? Obviously, in the beginning of the Quran, it says, "Hunna libasun lakum wa antum libasun lahunna." They are a garment for you, and you are a garment for them. Never forget that. When you get married, you are a garment for each other. You're a libas. You wrap yourself, both of you, around this garment, so that two will become one. And then that particular garment, that parda, that shield, that veil, it is there for your physical, your moral, and your spiritual development in your life. That's what that libas is there for in your life, okay? The Quran has described the true relationship between husband and wife. The object of marriage is not the gratification of passions, okay? Which is one reason why husbands and wives do get married, but to comfort, to protect, and to embellish each other, okay? Remember that day you stood in front of the Imam and says, "Yes, I do." Well, you promised your wife, you promised your husband, you will comfort them, you will protect them, and you will embellish each other. Okay, point one within the pre-marriage counselling notes, okay? I've really cherry-picked some points today, and hopefully I've got about 15 minutes to get through as many as I can. Marriage consent, okay? Now, the main key players in the marriage are parents, the boy, and the girl. These are the main key players. Now, the responsibility of the parents are what? It is to assist, to advise, and to pray for the couple. That's their responsibility. But the final decision rests on the boy and girl. Parents, remember, this is where the interfering issue may come into it, okay? Let the boy decide, let the girl decide. If a rishta comes your way for your son or your daughter, you should not dismiss it because you don't like it, okay? You should take every rishta seriously. But the final decision is the boy and the girl. The boy can say yes, the boy can say no, the girl can say yes, the girl can say no. It is there. Keep that in mind, okay? Because at the end of the day, when the boy has made the decision and the girl has made the decision, when they get married, okay, they can't run back to their mother and father and say, "Mama, he wasn't my choice. Abba, he wasn't my choice." No, it is your choice, okay? You have to live with it, you have to work with it, and you have to make your life a success and happy one. The haq mehr, this is one of the top ones. What is the haq mehr? Basically, in English, it is the dowry, and or in layman's terms, it's an amount of money, okay? In which direction does it go? It goes from the boy to the girl, and it is the girl's right from day one, okay? Now, once upon a time, maybe in the haq mehr, but basically the question is, what should be given in the haq mehr? Probably once upon a time, a pair of slippers that were given to the wife was probably regarded as a luxury item. But if you gave your wife to be a pair of slippers these days, she'll probably hit you with them, unless they are gold rimmed, okay, yeah? These days, the haq mehr tends to be money and jewelry, okay? And this is the girl's right. And remember, it is the Islamic duty of the husband to give the haq mehr to the wife. And you know what? The wife actually can demand it. Why? Because it's her right. Just like how husbands have rights, wives also have rights as well. It's the wife's right. And husbands, do not consider it a burden, like, oh, I have to give my wife the haq mehr. No, it's a promise to your wife, okay? And basically, it's a present for your wife. She is your lifelong partner now. You want to keep her happy. So by giving her the haq mehr, that, inshallah, will keep her happy. And there is a lot to talk about this, but please keep in mind, don't just simply sign your nikah form out of protocol and let's get on with it. Make sure you try and give your wife as soon as possible her haq mehr, because it is her right, okay? Again, I can't go on about this, but please, this is the girl's right from day one. And if you're in a position to give straight away, then do so. If not, it is the boy's intention. You give it bit by bit, slow by slow. You have to show to your wife the intention of paying it, okay? The jahez is like, let's say, the opposite of the haq mehr. This is what you could say the girl brings to her new married home, okay, yeah? And she may bring her, obviously, her suitcases, her clothes, her jewelry, and other bits and pieces she may want to decorate her new home, okay? Now, there should not really be a jahez list, okay? Of course, the girl's excited. She wants to bring this and she wants to bring that. But probably the best example I can give you, when Hazrat Fatima, may Allah be pleased with her, when she got married, in her jahez were things like kitchen pots and pans. There were sheets and rizaye and blankets and all that, practical things. So basically, in the jahez of the lady that's going to come into her new home, it should be a moderate. It shouldn't be too much and it shouldn't be too little. And especially whatever she brings, it should be practical items. You know, people get so many presents, box presents. All these presents tend to be just stuck in the garage, in the attic. They're never seen again, okay? So basically, I suggest that for the lady, make sure you don't bring too much in your jahez. And especially from the men's side, there should be no expectation list from the men's side, okay? The husband or the husband's family should not say, right, okay, let's see, what has she brought in her jahez? Has she brought, a 50-inch colored television? Has she brought a white leather sofa set? Has she brought a large fridge freezer? That way of thinking is wrong, okay? There should be no expectation list. But from the girl, whatever items you bring, I guess, should be practical items, okay? That's a jahez coming from the girl into her new home. The marital home, after they get married, where are you guys going to live? You know, sometimes the husband will take his wife back to their own flat, or sometimes they may actually go and live as a joint family system. There's nothing wrong with either. But the couple, you have to decide what is good for you. Okay, no one else, no parents. You have to decide what is good for you. Okay, living by yourself or living with the in-laws, you could say. Because when you live in a joint family system, there's going to be a lack of space, a lack of privacy as well, okay? And tensions may build up. You see the same people day in, day out, day in, day out. And let's say something is said that goes down the wrong way. It's not taken so nicely. There's a bit of tension at home. You know what? You're going to have to see that same person again and again. Obviously, you have to diffuse that tension as soon as possible. But when you live in a joint family system, you have to be aware of these things. Lack of space, lack of privacy. But I don't want to put you off the idea that a joint family system is not acceptable. Actually, people do live as a happy family as well, okay? So keep that in mind. Expectation of duties from each other. We all have many, many duties to do in a married life. Well, these are the main ones I'm going to share with you, okay? For the boy, he's the breadwinner. The boy, the husband, he has to go out, he has to work, he has to make the money, okay? And whatever money he makes, that's for himself, that's for his wife. Don't forget to give your wife some money as well, okay? And it's for the general household. So the boy's main duty, he has to work and make money. The girls, normally I say that the girl's main duty, she's the bread maker. Sometimes it doesn't go down too well, but I mean, basically her environment is the home environment. While the husband is out working, the wife, she is at home. She is looking after the children. She's making dinner, keeping the house clean. That's the balance. Husband out working, making money, wife at home. But that does not, let me quickly qualify and say, that does not mean our lady members cannot work. Of course they can work. Many of our Lajna members are highly educated. They are doctors, lawyers, dentists, and so forth. And they also want to study, they want to work, they want to have a career as well. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. But again, when a boy looks for a rishta, okay, you know, he can look for a domestic housewife, nothing wrong with that as well. And he may not want his wife to work, but after, and he may have thought he had found that wife. And after they get married, what happens? The wife, she may get a bit restless. She wants to go and work. She starts working, and the husband says, but you said you weren't going to work. So basically, on the onset, before marriage, find out what your plans are. It's a decision, again, between boy and girl. Many of our girls work. We have tremendous careers, so keep that in mind. And also, just another duty for a girl, looking after parents. If you have parents living with you, you know, they are naturally elder than us, they are infirm, they're going to need our help. While the husband's out working, in the ideal Islamic scenario, the girl is at home looking after the parents, okay? But again, it's up to how the boy and girl want to adjust whatever kind of rota, whatever kind of system they have in place to look after parents as well. And also the boy, another duty for the husband, he may have to look after the extended family. Just like how his wife may be looking after the health of the parents, well, the husband may have to look after the economical health of her parents and so forth. That's where the balance is. You help each other out. And these are the two main duties are the boys, the breadwinner, and the girl, she has to look after the home, okay? These are the main expectations. Clarity about personal issues. You know, we are all human beings. We are all weak, and we do have our weaknesses. And now this is a time, at the time of marriage, is a time to leave those weaknesses behind, okay, and start afresh. Now, look, some people may suffer from health issues, whatever that may be. Some people may have habits or bad habits. Now, this is at the point of marriage, this is a time to turn a new leaf now. Now, look, if anyone has health issues, don't hide it. It's best to actually reveal it or talk about it before the actual marriage rather than telling them about it after. Because, you know, if you tell them before, then that's openness, that's honesty, that is part of taqwa, that is part of righteousness. But if you tell them after, maybe tensions may be created, like, why didn't you tell me before we got married that you were suffering from this and so forth, okay? And also habits. You know, me being Secretary Tarbiyyat, you know, sadly to say, look, as I said, we are weak, we are human beings, and we are, let's say, get sucked into temptation as well. And, you know, boys and girls, they get up to un-Islamic habits, okay? Now, this is a great time that whatever weaknesses you may have, un-Islamic habits you may have, this is a time to leave those habits behind and do not take it into your marriage, okay? Because if you take those un-Islamic habits into your marriage, then it's just going to create a foundation of tension to begin with, okay? So keep these things in mind. You know, look, we are human beings, as I said, and we can hide things from each other quite easily, okay? But remember, it is about taqwa. You have to keep righteousness. It's all about that. Your wife may not be able to see what you're doing. Your husband may not be able to see what you're doing, but Allah can see everything. You keep that in mind. Remember the promise you made to your wife at the nikah time. Remember the promise you made to your husband at nikah time. You remember that promise and do not break that promise. Okay, jewelry sometimes can be another bone of contention, okay? You know, basically, just to zip through this one pretty quickly, whatever jewelry is given to the wife belongs to the wife. if the jewelry comes from her own parents or from her in-laws, once the marriage gets established, that jewelry belongs to her. Because sometimes I come across cases where after marriage, sometimes the in-laws of the wife says like, dear, whatever jewelry we gave you, you should give it back to us and we'll look after it for you. Why? No, it belongs to the wife, okay? Again, I'm not going to go too much into this, but please keep in mind, the men aren't going to wear jewelry. It belongs to the wife, okay? And sometimes this can be a bone of contention. 8, gifts of marriage. Look, basically, whatever gift you get for marriage, make sure you smile on receiving it. Make sure you show appreciation. Say, Jazakallah, thank you very much, okay? And don't make any sarcastic remark on whichever gifts you give, okay? Because you know what? These things do happen, by the way, okay? These things do happen. Again, I'm not going to go into it right now, but please, whatever gift you get, show appreciation to it at all times. Going to live with his parents. Now, look, sorry, wherever that picture is, I hope I haven't broken the GDPR protocols here. That was a cut and paste from the internet, by the way. It's not an Emily family, okay? But anyway, look, after the marriage takes place, if the husband decides to take his wife back to the family home to live there, okay, living with the in-laws, okay, nothing wrong with that. You have to make your new wife you feel at home. Give her the red carpet treatment. Give her a touch of royalty, a big welcome. Welcome, this is your home. She is now a fully fledged, paid up member of the family. She is one of the members of the family. She should not be treated as some kind of maid of the house, some kind of servant of the house. She is a fully paid up member of the family, and she has her place in that family now. But she, at the same time, she should also make an effort in the house as well, okay? Let's say it's dinner time, for example. It's dinner time, and her mother-in-law is making the food in the kitchen, and she's up in the room, okay? Once dinner's ready, she comes down, makes her own plate, and takes it back to her room. Nay. That goes to show she's not making an effort. What she should do, she should come down before dinner's ready, help set the table, help her mother-in-law prepare the food, eat together as a family, and not in front of the television. Switch the television off, eat together at the table. After dinner's ready, she should help to clean up. That's the way I'm saying. She should made to be feel welcome, but she should also make an effort in the house as well. She should respect her in-laws, and also she should wear appropriate clothes. Other people may be living in a house, other male members, so she should always observe that level of parda as well. Okay, I know I've got a few minutes left before I have to end this. As I said, there's so many points. I'm just going, finances, money, and assets. Basically, quickly, it's the husband's responsibility, okay? He is the breadwinner, and he has to earn the money, not the wife, okay? If the wife does work, and whatever money she earns, whatever benefits she receives, that money belongs to her as she wishes to do, okay, yeah? Give your wife some pocket money, some jeb kharaj, some pocket money, okay? It's a nice gesture, okay, to do things that she wants to do. Not pocket money for her to go and buy bread and milk. Money for her, maybe she wants to buy a new pair of shoes, a handbag or whatever, okay? Do not be stingy, be charitable, okay? But the thing, if wives do want to contribute, then leave it to them. They have to contribute voluntarily and happily. The whole responsibility for finances, the running of it, the earning of money is the husband's responsibility. Okay, if I just take a few more minutes, if you don't mind, Bakar Saab, and I'll just finish off, okay? Holidays, look, get yourself out, okay? Go for a holiday. Don't just be stuck in your home, okay? For example, a long weekend, okay? I mean, it doesn't have to be exotic, okay? Going to Paris, going to Europe or America. Go cheap, long weekend, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Go to the Lake District, bed and breakfast. Go to Scotland, lovely country, Scotland. I'll show you that. Go to Cornwall, okay? Just both of you get out of the way. Both of you spend time together, long weekend. It will refresh your relationship, okay? And do it often, okay? By going on many holidays together. It'll refresh your relationship and make it regular, okay? Make it regular as well. Okay, basically, remember the foundation of success of marriage is righteousness, okay? That's the foundation: sympathy, patience, kindness, honesty, and love. That's what you promised on your nikah day, that you will observe and exercise the highest level of righteousness to each other, okay? Never ever forget that. Marriage ceremonies, ronaks, mendes, rukhsatana, walima, and dawats. All I'm saying on this, please observe these things properly, okay? No music, no dancing, no mixing. And Azur mentioned this very, very clearly, and still people get up to these things, okay, yeah? And they get themselves into trouble as well. So please, I'm not saying do not celebrate. I'm not a party spoiler here, but you should celebrate and enjoy these things appropriately, okay? And yeah, by the way, and what is appropriate? Another Friday khutbah, 25th of November 2005, harmful innovations and customs relating to marriages. Please go to these, take these references. Basically, at the end of the day, our objective is this. That's what we want in our home. Husband and wife, mother and father, smiling, happy with their happy, smiling children as well. May Allah enable us to carry out our duties diligently, and may Allah enable us to fulfill the instructions of our beloved Khalifa, as he has repeatedly so many times told us how husbands and wives should treat each other, so as we can reach higher levels of righteousness. Jazakallah. That is the end of my lecture today.
Jazakumullah, Nisar Sahib, mashallah, comprehensive as always. I do have several questions that have come through, and I will do my best to combine some of these in the interest of the last few minutes. There is a set of questions about engagements, which I'll come to first. These have been posted by Hassan Hakim Sahib. So I'll read these out in turn, and then you can tackle it as you wish. So the first question in relation to engagement is, what is the point of an engagement when the Islamic custom is to have a nikah and a rukhsati? The second question about engagement is, do couples have the option to break off an engagement? And third question is, what is a reasonable length of time to be engaged before the wedding itself?
There is no right or wrong answer in any of these now, okay? Now, an engagement, look, is just an intent to get married, okay? People have intentions, but sometimes intentions are not actually seen through, okay? They change their minds. Simple as that. They change their minds. So engagement is a commitment to some extent. It's the intention to get married, but it's nothing official as yet, okay? And if you think about it, engagements do break off, which is called a mangni, okay? And marriages break as well, which is called a divorce, okay? So don't be surprised that if marriages break off, then engagements can break off as well. In terms of the amount of time, okay? Again, it depends on the boys' and girls' circumstances. You know, maybe the girl is studying, maybe the boy is finishing his studies or whatever. It really is, you know, there's no wrong answer to this. But me personally, I would say do not have a long engagement, okay? If your intention is ready to marry your other half, do not wait to get that house. Do not wait to, to get that job, you know. Your wife is there, your husband is there. From my point of view, you get married when you can, as soon as possible. And there was a third point, which I've kind of lost in my answers there.
The third question about what is the reasonable length of time?
Again, it's up to you. But for me, you do not have long engagements, okay? Because you see, look, an engagement is not a full commitment. And during engagement, sometimes boys and girls, they find out about each other. They get to know each other better, you know. That getting to know each other should be happening in marriage, not in engagement. And you know, within marriage, if something, let's say there's a dispute, they can work at it. They're working at to save their marriage. But in an engagement, if they're having some kind of free relationship, they're having a dispute, then they'll say, oh, chala, we're just engaged, let's break it off, okay? So to me, do not have long engagements.
Next questions, which I'll pair up. One is from Adila Chaudhry Sahiba, who asks, do married couples have counselling after marriage? And what does the Jamaat do to try and avoid divorce? And a second question from Masood Ahmed, who asks, if a husband refuses to give the hakmir, in what should a wife do in those circumstances?
Just to quickly, regarding the second one, these are rights, okay? Both have rights, and if one denies one their right, then the other can deny the other their right as well, okay? That can happen. So basically, as I said, the lady can demand it. She definitely can. But the thing is, you know, I actually kind of said the opposite. Normally, I said the lady should not demand it, but she should expect her hakmer, okay? She should expect it. But the thing is, if she demands it and it's not given to her, then she can also stop the rights that are owed to the husband as well. And there are very obvious rights that the husband expects from the wife, okay? And she can say no, okay? And the first point again was, sorry?
So the other question was in relation to what does the Jamaat do to help?
Well, look,
during marriage.
We have, as I said, I'm the chairman of the Islamic committee, and you know, it doesn't. I'm not proud in saying this, but sadly and unfortunately, every day from morning till evening, I am dealing with couples issues. Okay, yeah, couples issues. They know our department. I try to promote the Department of Islam. You know, we were all strung together. There is the Amoriyama, there is the Qaza, there's Tarbiyyat, there's Islam, and there's Amir Saab's office, General Secretary. Our Nizam allows people to be directed to the correct offices. So at the end of the day, they will come to my department for reconciliation purposes, okay? And yeah, basically, we are there to serve them in this particular capacity as well.
Jazakumullah. Next couple of questions. One is from Tawheed Ahmed, who asks, is there any guidance about when a person should get married? So, for example, is it as soon as they complete their degree at university? Is it when they've purchased a house? So at what stage should a person marry? And also another question that we received is, how do you know how religious or pious a person is before marriage if you don't have a chance to really know them properly?
First of all, you should marry your partner if you feel he or she is right for you, not whether he or she has managed to achieve this degree or this job and so forth. That, I'm sure Kaleem Tahir Saab covered that in his lecture, okay? But no, if you have a feeling that this person is correct in terms of righteousness, okay, it's righteousness. It's not about the size of his bank account or how good looking she is or whatever, okay? It's basically, if you feel ready, you should do it there. Even if you haven't finished your studies, if you haven't got that job yet, there's no harm in getting married. And again, look, marriage is half of your faith, okay, right? And if you can get that half of your faith before rather than later, then why not? It's logical. Get married as soon as you can. That brings you closer to Allah, okay? And sorry, I keep forgetting. And the second point again was?
So the second question was, how do you know how religious a person is before you...
You know, whether religious or whatever, you never ever really find out who your partner is until you get married to them, okay? That's my answer to that, okay? But you have to go in with, as I said, with a good intention. You pray, you do istikhara, you have that level of faith in you. You go in with good intention, okay? And again, as I said, you never ever know who you're married to until you're married to them.
Imran Masood Sahib asks, how can we ensure that people with illnesses or disabilities can get married? I think that's in the context of within the Jamaat. And if they cannot find suitable partners within the Jamaat, then is it acceptable for them to marry outside the Jamaat?
Again, I'll still apply that rule that we are encouraged to marry within our own, okay? And inshallah, they will find a suitable partner. Now, again, by my own practical experience, yes, I know people who are married outside for this particular purpose. It does happen. But because we belong to a nizam, we have to show obedience and respect. You can't just say, okay, I'm going to marry him, I'm going to marry her. We have to take permission via a mirsab and with Hazur's knowledge, okay? And if you get that blessing, then what more do you want, okay? So again, please respect the nizam, okay? We encourage people to marry within, but sometimes because of a necessity, maybe we have to go off the straight and narrow a little bit, but please seek permission. And it's not that they're going to say no, you never know. And inshallah, from my own personal experience, I have seen that happen when people have married outside, but just go along with the rules of the Nizam, with the Jamaat, please, on this.
I think we'll just fit in last couple of questions, Nisar, with your permission.
Sure.
So one question from Adila Sahiba is, how can we deal with situations where a husband is not willing or want to provide for the family financially? And secondly, a question in relation to what is the role of the husband in relation to a conflict between the mother-in-law and the daughter-in-law?
The first one about money, the husband has to provide. He's the breadwinner. Okay, I'm just saying things that you already know, but what's the solution? Yeah, look, it is all about trying to raise your levels of righteousness, to be charitable, to be kind, as opposed to being stingy and cruel. Yeah, what do you want? I mean, if a husband is like that, if he is cruel, if he is conjuice, if he is stingy, okay, I say that, well, if that's good enough for you to behave like that to your wife, and if you have a daughter, then that same behavior coming from you will be good enough for your son-in-law to behave to your daughter. I get him to think about what he is doing, and that'll be acceptable for his son-in-law to behave to his daughter. And I don't think he would like that, you see. And look, I've said that parents, whether they are your own parents or your in-laws, you have to treat them equally. They have a position in life, and that always has to be respected at all times, okay? We should understand that they are younger than us, and we have to respect even, let's say, if they are interfering, okay, but nevertheless, we have to show that level of calm, of reassuring ourselves. Because to me, when you're faced with difficulties, I kind of turn it around and see the glass half full. That's actually an opportunity for me to become a better person, for me not to talk back, for me to remain silent. Oh, it's not easy. That's why the big jihad, okay, is not fighting on the battlefield. The big jihad is your nafs, okay, is to feed your soul with good moral values. And that's patience, being in control of yourself, being kind to other people, being respectful to other people, and so forth. Parents have a place and they always have to be respected. But that's why parents have to be present in the counselling session, because that counselling session is just as much for the parents as it is for the boy and girl getting married.
Nisar Sahib, I mean, we have had a flurry of questions come through, but I have to say that I think the amount of compliments that we received far outweighed the questions. So Jazakumullah Jaza for your insights and sharing your experience and very valuable advice and guidance. Jazakumullah Jaza. Our lectures return next Monday when we will have an Urdu lecture delivered by Murabi al-Silsila Mansoor Ahmad Zia Sahib, and the topic of his lecture is an introduction to the system of iftah, that is edicts, within the Ahmadiyya Jamaat, and that will be at 8 o'clock next Monday. Just leaves for me to hand back to Nadim Rahman Sahib, please, for any final comments.
Jazakallah Bakar Sahib, dear views, and Nisar Sahib for your excellent lecture as per usual. It just remains for me to ask you, Nisar Sahib, if you could be kind enough to lead us in silent prayer, and then we can conclude
My
the
last
session.
words are: be safe and be happy. Be safe and be happy. Please join me in a silent prayer. Ameen. Jazakallah. Hafiz. Assalamu alaikum.
Ameen. Assalamu alaikum.